Hello and welcome, sports card fans, to another edition of the ThePit.com Sports Card Market Movers Report. Today we're taking a look at Miguel Cabrera and his tops traded rookie cards. So we had one trade on the pit over the weekend for $135. This card typically has been selling around $150 or so. There's one currently listed for $155 on the pit. So the reason we're talking about Miguel Cabrera today is that he may be one of the absolute safest baseball investments that you can make right now. So if you take a look at the baseball gauge, so this site tracks the career trajectories of active players. So basically what this does is it takes a look at the wins above replacement required for players to get into the Hall of Fame and estimates if those players have what it takes to make the Hall of Fame. So as you can see here, there are four that are in the blue right now. So you have Albert Pujols, Mike Trout, Robinson Cano, and Miguel Cabrera. So these are the four guys who statistically are pretty much locks for the Hall of Fame. Pujols, there's really absolutely no question there. He has over 100 career wins above replacement already. Trout, of course, already with 72 and a half. As soon as he plays his first game of 2020, he will be eligible to get into the Hall of Fame. So he is. I mean, those two are surefire Hall of Famers. Robinson Cano, his numbers certainly would suggest that he will easily make the Hall of Fame. Of course, he does have the PED suspension on his record, and he also had an absolutely atrocious year for the Mets in his first year with the other National League New York team. So that leaves, of course, Miguel Cabrera. Miguel Cabrera, no performance-enhancing drug suspensions, of course. He came up with the Miami Marlins, then the Florida Marlins, and was an absolute sensation. Traded to the Tigers in perhaps one of the worst trades of all time. The Tigers, of course, then signed Cabrera to that huge extension that he's actually still playing on now. So Cabrera, if you look at his career numbers, so he has 69 and a half career wins above replacement. Not a huge number, but certainly enough for a first baseman, especially one with his credentials. So he has 2,815 career hits and 477 home runs in his career. So that leaves him, pretty close to milestones. So he's less than 200 hits away from 3,000 and 23 home runs away from 500. Those are numbers that would make him an automatic lock for the Hall of Fame. Of course, I mean, if he retired today, he would easily make the Hall of Fame anyway. As you can see, he two-time MVP, four-time batting title. He did win, of course, the World Series with the Marlins in 2003. He's won a Triple Crown. He has 7-time Silver Slugger. So this guy has just done it all in his career. And so the 2020 season being suspended has basically prevented him from being able to work towards those milestones so far. But I don't think that's going to be an issue for Cabrera. Now, Cabrera, of course, not the player that he once was last year. He was certainly a diminished player. He was basically a replacement level player. Very much like Albert Pujols. They're on albatross contracts, but this contract is unbelievable. So this year in 2020, he's making $30 million at 37 years old. And the next year, in 2021, he's also due $30 million. 2022, he's due $32 million. In 2023, he's due another $32 million. He also has 2 vesting options. So if Cabrera finishes in the top 10 of MVP voting in 2023, he automatically has a vesting option for 2024 at another $30 million. The chances of that are probably fairly low, considering that he's not the player he once was. But he essentially has 4 years to reach those milestones in his career. So I mean, the chances of him making those milestones is pretty high. I mean, he's still a useful player. I mean, he's not a negative by any stretch. I mean, he's still a league average hitter. Even at this point, even with his diminished power at this point. So he still can easily reach those milestones. And if you take a look at his at his tops traded rookie cards, PSA 10, it's $155. Take a look at the population report. There are 1,763 of this card. So part of the reason that it's not super expensive is because there are so many versions of it out there, so many graded copies of it out there. And also, if you're taking a look at other cards that are traded of his on the pit, there are also there's also a 9.5 BGS version of this card, so that's a gem mint from Beckett for considerably less, $79, and a BGS 9 for $72.95. So, if you're looking to get this card a little bit, actually, this is the chrome traded here. If you're looking to get the same card, for a lower price, and you're not as concerned about having a PSA 10, you can get one of his BGS 9.5s for under $100, which is pretty sweet. And then there's also his chrome traded. So his chrome traded is a little bit of a rare card. It's actually not that much rarer in graded form. There, we'll take a look at the pop report for that card. So this is the chrome traded. So there's 581 PSA 10s. So the PSA 10s is where this card greatly differs. And you see on the PSA 9s, there's 1,416. On the regular tops traded, there's 1,493. So the population numbers are actually very similar for the PSA 9s, but when you get into the PSA 10s, it's very different. So that's the reason why a PSA 10 is so much more than a tops regular traded. But of course, you can get a BGS 9.5 of the tops chrome traded on the pit. So yeah, I mean, he has these rookie cards, but he also has the tops autograph rookies. So whereas a lot of players today have the first Bowman Chromes, Miguel Cabrera actually has a tops traded auto. These cards are obviously very expensive. There's not really a whole lot of them out there. As far as graded copies, and this is easily his most sought after card. So if you're looking to spend a couple $1,000s on one of his cards, this is definitely these are definitely the cards that you are looking to chase. Unfortunately, the pit doesn't have one in PSA 10 right now, but we do have a BGS 9.5 and a BGS 9, so Beckett graded. So yeah, so right now Miguel Cabrera. And of course, you can also have a PSA 9 tops chrome traded for under $100 as well. So, very, he's as far as Hall of Fame, pretty much surefire Hall of Fame investments go. Miguel Cabrera is about as close as you can get, and the fact that he has, essentially 4 more seasons to reach those milestones. I mean, there's just really, I can't foresee him retiring before that. That's a lot of money. So. You're talking about something like $120 million that he would be, essentially turning down. But yeah, so he's definitely going to make the Hall of Fame. He's definitely going to reach those milestones, barring some crazy injury that prevents him from reaching them. But even if he does, somehow miss those exact milestones of 500 home runs and 3,000 hits, I think that he's very much as much of a lock as you can get for the Hall of Fame. But his cards definitely don't have the same price point as, say, an Albert Pujols or, of course, a Mike Trout. Mike Trouts are very expensive. I mean, you can't even get into a Mike Trout rookie card for less than $300 or $400 raw. And of course, Cano has all kinds of issues surrounding him as well. So Cabrera is pretty much about as safe as you can get. If you're looking for a future Hall of Famer, you don't want to necessarily spend the money on a Trout. If you're looking to get in, around the $100 price point, Miguel Cabrera is about as sure thing as you can get at that price point. So let me know what you guys think of Miguel Cabrera as an investment. Of course, this is going to be a very long-term hold, considering he has 4 more years on his contract. And then it would be another 5 years before he makes the Hall of Fame. So you're looking at a 8 to 10 year hold on this card. But if you're in it for the long haul and you really want to, to do that, and there's a chance at some very easy money here. So yeah, so that's it for today's market report on Miguel Cabrera. Hope you guys enjoyed, and happy collecting, everyone.